Where is the lamp?
Listen to me. I don't know who you think I am.
Goodbye, Aladen.
No! This was the underwater scene, where Aladen gets thrown off the ledge. Jafar pushes him off into the ocean to die a miserable death, and his hands are tied behind his back, and he's struggling. Abu throws him the lamp. He sees the lamp. He's trying to get to it, but that classic scene, just as he's about to get to it, he passes out, and his hands happen to touch the lamp, and the genie comes out and saves him, uses one of his wishes without his permission. I think they had planned about 4 or 5 days to shoot this scene. I had a couple weeks to prep for it, and so basically we shot about 18 meters underwater. So you gotta train a little bit, hold your breath, learn how to use the oxygen mask, because the scuba divers are down there with you, feeding you oxygen. And you gotta equalize as well, because your ears can pop and all sorts of things can happen if you come up too quickly and whatnot. 18 meters isn't too deep, but you still gotta practice a little bit. So I remember I was really looking forward to doing this scene. Obviously the stunt work is something that I enjoyed the most about Aladen. You know, it was the stunt work and the acting. That's what I love the most. So for this scene, they planned all these extra days, and we rented out one of the biggest, if not the biggest, underwater tank in the world in London, Pinewood Studios. And basically we went to shoot this thing. So when we got there, you know, I was like, you know what? Let me stay down there as long as I can. Obviously you can't come up every time from 18 meters underwater. It would just be too much of a hassle and too much work, and stop shooting, and it would create all sorts of problems. So, you know, I said, let's just try to get this done. And they tried to break me for lunch, and I went up to Max, our assistant director, and I said, hey, any way we can just try to push through this, you know? I don't want to have to keep coming out because the temperature change and all that kind of stuff. So I had a great stunt double during the shoot, Hazit. He was terrific, did a lot of great work for us. And, you know, he was there, he was ready to go. And I said, you know what, let me try to get this. You know, if me and Hazit switch too much, and, you know, then we're stopping and we're going and we're stopping and we're going, and let me just try to get this done myself. It's nothing that I can't do. It's all good. So, you know, we had a few different shots we had to get, and we ended up finishing in about 2 days. So we saved quite a few days doing that scene, which was fantastic. Everybody was happy about that, obviously, because it wasn't our normal studio. So we didn't have our home base there. We didn't have anything. So we wanted to get in and out as quickly as possible. And everybody was fantastic. The camera equipment, you know, didn't screw up too much. And we ended up getting out of there in 2 days. But what I loved about that scene was, yes, it was physical, and yes, you know, it was something different that I had never done before. But what I loved about that scene was really, I was taking instruction underwater, you know, because you can't really see when you're down there. So it's like, hey, look left, look right, and they've got speakers on the inside of everything. So even underwater, you can hear, you know, I could hear Guy, and I could hear Max, and I could hear the whole crew underwater because they've got speakers down there. So it was quite interesting working underwater. I felt a little bit like a mermaid, I guess, or something. The other nice thing about it was that I was the only actor on set for these scenes. You know, I got to go underwater myself, and, you know, it's always nice when you can kind of have a smaller crew, a more intimate setting. Obviously the crew was reduced. You know, we went from a crew of, you know, a couple hundred to a crew of 50 people, because that's all you can fit inside there. So it was a reduced crew, and a reduced amount of people, very intimate. So it was a very iconic scene in the animation film. I grew up with it. I always remembered that scene. It was that scene that kind of made your heart drop, where you're like, oh my gosh, that's it, he's gonna die. So I had a lot of fun shooting that scene.